Hello and welcome to Inspiren Safe Chinese Movement TV. I am teacher Jaye. Today's topic is, what do I think about results? Now, exams, tests, and the eventual results are something that everyone needs to face. I know there is a recent rhetoric that exams are not that important and results are not everything. However, as an educator, we do know that tests and assessments are a good way to judge one's learning, if set properly and correctly, of course, and the eventual results and the students' performance in them, in the tests, do give an indication of how well the student grasps the subject, of which areas he is strongest or weakest in, and how to move on from there. We can argue whether a test or exam is good in assessing one's ability in the subject matter, but we cannot deny that a good assessment does tell a picture of a child's progress. And certificates are recognition given to those who do well in the national and international assessments. And mind you, these assessments are, of course, set under great scrutiny and recognized in the whole world. One may not be good in academics, granted, and fail to do well in a strictly timed and specifically set question paper, even though he may actually be good at the subject. Just not that exam smart, but one needs to learn the skills and knowledge needed in the working world in the future.
上华文课觉得怎么样？好玩？好玩。
For example, can you imagine your doctor or surgeon not knowing the basics of how to conduct a surgical operation and thus does not perform his tasks in the operation room properly? Or a lawyer who does not know basic legal principles or procedures and makes a fool of himself in court? Even if not in written form, there are some skill sets that need to be acquired in the practical world that you cannot do away with. What we should glean from the rhetoric that exams are not that important is that what is important is the acquisition of skills and knowledge, technical, on-the-job know-how, the inescapable, relevant skills that are needed for the workplace for the future. And also the people skills, like how to work in a team, how to communicate with people, how to package and market, that are equally essential and as important as hard skills to survive in the working world. To me, it is not so much what you are interested in, but how you can harness that interest into something useful and effective for you, both for living and for work. We can talk all day about exams are not important, but then never discuss what is. If exams are not the be-all and end-all, then what is? And are certain subjects and certain knowledge and skill sets still testable, required, and very much compulsory to acquire and know in order to excel in your career? Just telling students exams are not important without telling them specifically, clearly, and accurately what is and how they are going to go about achieving it is, to me, irresponsible and frivolous and unbecoming of a real educator. The real educator should be upfront and honest enough to let students know what works and what doesn't, or at least to give advice and suggestions to the best of his or her ability. Not repeat the mantra without going into specifics or details. At my center, where I teach primary school English and Maths and secondary school Chinese and Higher Chinese, results are of course important and a good indicator of one's grasp and ability of the subject. Although, as I say, not always, as a particular test may be, so happen to test on a certain topic or skill set that the child is lacking in, but that doesn't mean he is bad in the subject overall. But as a measure of improvement, I always set a reachable target of improving 2 grades in 6 months. And most of my students are able to attain it, unless of course they are already getting A2 and improving 1 grade to A1. Results are of course important, but when we say they are not the only measure, what we mean is it is not always 100% the case, and one should not feel depressed or demoralized over the failing of one particular test. Everyone fails at something along the way, and life is not about being perfect. Safe Chinese today. If you enjoyed our video today, do not forget to click on subscribe and share with your friends who you think would benefit from our videos and open their minds. As usual, I will see you in the next video.
上华文课觉得怎么样？好玩？